In a statement, Gruden said, quote, "I love the Raiders and do not want to be a distraction. Thank you to all the players, coaches, staff, and fans of Raider Nation. I'm sorry. I never meant to hurt anyone." So, Shannon, how much has this tarnished his legacy? And will he ever coach again in the NFL?
Skip, it's very hard to separate John Gruden, the coach, and John Gruden, the man, given what we know from these emails.
Yep.
I don't know how we separate that. And a lot of times people say, I'm not what I do as a professional. I'm not just an actor. I'm much more than that. Okay, if John Gruden is much more than a coach, what are we to deduce from what he said in these emails? That's a part of his legacy. That's a part of who he is. In Mark Anthony's speech, when he, the oration about Julius Caesar, he said, the good that a man does is buried with him. The bad lives on. Skip, he can't, it's just like any actor. Like, get John Wayne as a prime example. People used to love John Wayne until they found out just how racist he was. Now, all of a sudden, people, especially a lot of blacks, can't look at his movies the same. My grandfather used to love John Wayne because he didn't know what we know today.
That's a good point.
So now, how do you look at it? If your favorite actor has done something, how can you look at him the same? How can you watch his movies the same? I don't know how John Gruden, you believe that he can move past this. Well, if you hire John Gruden, basically you're saying you're okay.
Not to be hired as an NFL coach.
Right.
Yeah.
But even
in the media at some point, 3, 4, 5 years.
Maybe you know what, Skip?
Certain outlets.
You know what, Skip? I don't believe this should be a death sentence for John Gruden. The man said what he said. Yes, it wasn't an isolated incident, but it was over time.
Okay.
I believe that all of us, deep down, deserve a level of forgiveness, even if we've done the harshest things, because you can never be free without forgiveness.
Yep.
And so I'm willing to forgive John Gruden for some of the things that he said.
Okay.
But I'm gonna need a wholesome. I'm gonna need a for real apology, not that bull jive. If I never meant to hurt somebody or try to skate away. Well, this is what we call lying, or people that are lying. No. Be honest, be open, and people will forgive you. But even in forgiveness, Skip, I don't know how we separate the two, knowing what he said and knowing, Skip, now if he's won like 6 or 7 championships and he was that, but it has not gone according to plan since he's returned. And even after Brooks and Sapp and those guys started to retire, he wasn't looked at as the same coach as he was before. So I don't know how he gets past this, Skip. I just don't know how you separate the two. I don't believe you can.
Okay, so I'm going to be as real as I can be here.
Okay.
The question is, was his legacy just tarnished forever? In my view, absolutely.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
You know, indelibly.
Yes.
Can't erase, can't even begin to scrub it at all.
Right. Because look how you had to go, Skip. Look at the circumstances that forced him to leave coaching.
Okay, but I'm looking through my eyes with my mindset. And I've told you several times, I got to know John a little bit at ESPN, talked a lot of football with him, casual circumstance, never had lunch or dinner, never got completely away from the ESPN campus or an ESPN setting where I could see what he was really like way off camera.
You would say you guys were friendly, not friends. You had a working relationship, not an outside of work relationship.
And I never talked anything but ball with him. Anything ever but ball. So I never got any hint, any indication, and yet we had a parade of ex-players and current players and ex-friends and broadcasters that worked with him say, never saw a hint of any of this, starting with the racism. Well, neither did I. But what do we always say? You never know what a man or a woman is doing behind closed doors. You just don't know their mindset when they're out of the public eye.
Correct.
Okay, now what do we also know? Well, let's go back to the 2016 election. Shockingly, a president got elected because there was a whole big community out there, a contingent of people who believed what they were hearing from him. I'm not sure they did in the end, but many to begin with did. Okay, well, let's look at what are his offenses, John Gruden's right now. Well, he didn't break any laws, right?
No.
Okay, so there was no domestic violence or driving drunk or assault and battery or any of these things, right? It's just his mindset. It's his value system that is not mine and definitely not yours.
And the thing that you describe is probably easier to come back from those than what he actually said.
I agree. Bingo. Yet, there's going to be a segment of the population that's going to say, this is cancel culture.
Right.
How dare you condemn him? These are just the things he believes, right? And there's going to be this segment that will continue to support John Gruden out there because that will be his constituency going forward. That's why, to me, because things tend to blow over. I'm talking about 5 years from now.
Right.
John Gruden is really good on television.
He is, Skip.
Trust me.
Yes.
And he is so good, and he is such a figure because he became, to me, the second most dynamic broadcaster in the history of Monday Night Football to Howard Cosell.
Okay.
I don't know if you're old enough to remember Howard.
Of course I do.
Okay, well, so you got Howard, who was just up here, but John was starting to push up there.
You like him better than Madden?
Boy, I don't know. I thought he took over. I just thought he did. It was close, but I thought he rose into second place. He was wildly entertaining and very insightful. I love John Madden. I know him very well.
Because he started drawing. Once he started drawing and circling sweat stays and all this.
It was fun.
It was.
But I think John was actually...
He gave you more insight, more X's and O's. Yes. More X's and O's.
John just stayed in the entertainment lane the whole time to me. And John could be critical when it was time to be critical. He could be over, like gushingly positive. But he was dynamic as a broadcaster. You can argue more dynamic than he ever was as a coach.
Right.
His best run as a coach, to me, was that 2002 Raiders run when he took a team on the rise and they got tuck ruled at Brady and Belichick, right? They got tuck ruled. They had won. I thought the game was over.
Right.
I was covering the team. I'm sitting in the press box.
Right.
Okay, and the review goes on, and I'm sitting just above Amy Trask, who was Al Davis's right-hand man you worked with at CBS, and she stood up and turned to me and said, would you please call 911 because I'm about to have a heart attack? Because the longer the review went, she just knew it was coming down.
Yes.
And you know what happened? And it was a tuck rule. It wasn't a fumble? No, he fumbled. He tucked. He'd already tucked. He was starting to throw again. And Charles Woodson hit him, and the ball was loose.
Right.
Okay? So my point is, as we bring this back, John had a great run there. I thought that team could go.
They could have easily won. The 2001 team,
They could have won it all. And then he falls completely apart with Al Davis to the point they had screaming matches, and Al ends up trading him to Tampa, right? And he inherits everything that Tony Dungy and obviously the scouting department had built, which was sensational.
Yes.
It was on the verge of what was about to happen.
Correct.
And he actually got a huge break because he got to play Bill Callahan's Raiders in the Super Bowl, and he knew it all.
He knew everything.
He was calling plays from the sideline. They're calling out Raider plays because they had it cold.
Yes.
And you know the rest of the story. It was a rout.
Right.
It was a butt kick. It was actually an embarrassment, and that was kind of the end of the Raiders as we knew and loved them.
But, Skip, when you get past it, he had become more of a personality than a head coach.
Yep,
because outside of the Super Bowls, he only has 2 playoff wins in 14 seasons. Hadn't won a playoff game since the Super Bowl.
I mean, where would he be without the Chucky comparison?
Exactly.
That's who he is.
And
Chucky.
He's 5 games over 500. He's 117 and 112.
Okay. I will give you overrated as a head coach, but his celebrity grew.
Yes.
And his power grew while he was sitting in that prime seat on Monday Night Football as the analyst whose star was rising, I think, a little above John Madden's toward Howard Cosell. Well, I think it also was probably going to his head because he got more and more brazen with his emails.
Exactly. And you know, Skip, I mean, the Chucky doll took a life of its own. He became a cult-like figure because now you show up to the games and 20,000 people got Chucky dolls. People are dressed like Chucky. And, you know, they got the Chucky and they got the headset on just like Gruden.
And he did look like Chucky.
Yes. And it just grew. Skip, it took a life of its own. And it just grew and grew and grew. And sometimes, Skip, we become the personality instead of we forget, like, no, I'm really John Gruden. And I think sometimes, Skip, the scowls and I think he, like,
maybe
I got to do this a little bit more.
Lay it on thick.
Yeah.
No, I'll buy that.
But, Skip, I agree with you. This is on his resume. He can apologize, and I'm a firm believer if down the road someone gives him another opportunity.
He's going to apologize because it's not in his heart. I think this is like, okay, you got me.
This is all I got for you.
Yeah. Okay,
Yeah.
so we go on.
Right.
Will he ever work in the NFL? I seriously doubt that.
Yeah, I don't know if you can stand in front of a group of black men.
No.
And they like, hold on, bro. But you know what, Skip? Maybe you're right. Maybe, and I wouldn't have a problem. And I know some people are like, well, if you hire him, you're saying you were okay. But I believe John Gruden can grow. Now, this is a teachable moment. This is his opportunity.
And that could happen. He could say, I've been enlightened.
Yes.
I've seen the light.
Right.
I get it now. And you could sort of rehabilitate his image.
Right.
Not to the point that he could work for the National Football League again, because it's going in a new, much better direction.
Yeah, we hope so, but I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm gonna need to see. Just imagine if they could confiscate everybody, all 32 teams' emails.
We're going to talk about that in a few minutes on the show.
Somebody's scrubbing some emails right now, Skip.
You are right. I would agree.
Guys, all right, we're going to move on for now. Kevin Durant and James Harden, are they going to decide Kyrie Irving's fate this season? Stick around for the latest surrounding the drama with the Knicks. Next.